This is the second half of Solving Equations, practice sheet from your booklet for week 3. The equation you can see in front of you has a bracket in it. Let's clear the bracket. So when you clear your bracket, you're going to have to take your 4 and multiply it through. You're going to get 4x minus 4. You carry on across. And now you have to group all your like terms together. So on the left, we're going to put all the x's. So negative 7x plus 4x. Bring this 4x over, it's going to become plus 4x again. On the right hand side you have a minus 4. Bring the other minus 4 over, it's going to change to a plus 4. On the left you're going to have negative 7 plus 4 is obviously going to be negative 3. Negative 3 plus 4x is going to leave you with 1x, or just an x. On the right you're going to have a 0. So if you complete the question and solve both sides, or rather divide both sides by 1, which is kind of silly, but if you did it, your answer would be x is equal to 0. That means the solution is 0. If you go back up to your original equation, put a 0 everywhere there's an x, you're going to get negative 7 times 0, plus 4 onto 0 minus 1, which is minus 1. The right hand side you're going to have minus 4 times 0 minus 4. So you're going to get 0 minus 4, which is minus 4. On the right hand side you're going to get 0 minus 4, which is minus 4. Since the left side equals the right side, you have proven that the solution of x is equal to 0 is correct. So it's very, very valid and very, very possible to have your answer equal 0. 0 is a number between negative 1 and positive 1. Next question. You've got a bracket. You best clear it. So 7n is going to equal 6 times 6n is going to be 36n, and 6 times 7 is going to be 42. To complete the question, you need to put all your letters on one side and numbers on the other. So 7n minus 36n is going to equal 42. So 7 take away 36 is going to be minus 29. N equals 42. You want to solve for n, so you need to divide both sides by the coefficient, negative 29. So your answer is going to be 42 divided by negative 29, but you don't want to leave a negative on the bottom of a fraction, so you're going to bring it up, either put it in the middle or put it on the top, and your answer is going to be whatever 42 divided by 29 is. That's an exact answer. If you change it to a decimal, you're going to have to round. You're going to have a rounding issue. So if there's no decimals in the question, you should not have decimals in your answer. Now this question has a large fraction. There's two ways you can approach this. You can clear the bracket on the top and get 18 minus 2x, all divided by 3. Equals a negative x, but the long and the short of it here, we've got to get rid of that 3 in the bottom. We have to multiply this whole side by 3, so the 3 will cancel. We must also multiply this side by 3 to keep it even. We're going to have 18 minus 2x is going to equal negative 3x. So you can choose to put the x's on the left, or maybe you're going to put them on the right this time just to save a step. So 18 would equal negative 3x plus 2x, which would be a negative x. Now this is not done because your answer has to be written with the x as a positive 1 coefficient. So if I divide this side by negative 1, and this side by negative 1, I'm going to get negative 18 equals x. Or x is equal to negative 18. Your answer's got to always be written down or brought right down to the variable x, the variable p, the variable whatever equals a negative number. In this case, a negative number could be equal to whatever. But you cannot have any kind of a coefficient in front of your x. Now, number 11 has decimals. Not necessarily a different question, just probably going to require you to break out the calculator. So 0.15 multiplied by 40 is 6. So 6 plus 0.6x is going to equal, clear the second bracket, 0.4 times 40 is 16, and 0.4 times x is 0.4x. Now I have a simplified question. I'm going to move my x's to one side and my numbers to the other. So 0.6x minus 0.4x, and then on the other side I'm going to have 16 take away 6. So 0.2x equals 10. Divide both sides by 0.2, and x is going to equal 50. And it's a whole, even, perfect number, not a decimal. That may or may not happen, but that is the final answer. You can go back and check it, of course. In the original question, everywhere there's an x, put a 50, and prove that the left side is equal to the right side. Now this question has a fraction in front, so it can be potentially dirty, but we'll just take it one step at a time. So 1/4 times 8, use your calculator, not that bad actually, it's going to be 2, so 2x. 1/4 times a minus 12 is going to be a minus 3, so that happened to leave us with no fractions. 6 times a third, don't forget it's 6 over 1, so 6 times 6, 6 times 1 is 6 over 3. That happens to work out to a perfectly whole number as well, 2x, and 6 times a half is going to be a minus 3 plus 7. Putting your letters on one side and your numbers on the other, you're going to get 2x minus 2x. On the right, you're going to get negative 3 plus 7 plus 3. Bring it all down to the final, you're going to get 0x on the left and a 7 on the right. If you follow through, there's two ways to approach the question from this point on. You could do it logically or you can do it mathematically. If you follow through with your math and you divide both sides by 0, like we've been doing all on to get the x by itself, you take your calculator and you do 7 divided by 0, and it's going to say error, because there is no solution for taking the number 7 and dividing it by nothing. This is the answer. Sometimes we have an answer of 1, sometimes we have an answer of 42 over 29, sometimes we have an answer of 5. This question has no solution. There is no possible number for x that we could substitute and make it work. Here's the logical way to do it. Get down to the step and it says 0x is equal to 7. You're trying to find a number you could substitute in for x and have it work. So play around for a second. 0 times what possible number would equal 7? And of course that's impossible. There's no number. And that's why this is an example of a special case where there is no solution. And you will see a few of these in your travels. So if you get 0 in front of the letter, so 0x, 0p, 0q, whatever, equals some number, it's going to be a no solution question. Question 13. 7 outside the bracket, so here we go. 7y. 7 times a minus 4, negative 28, plus 4y, plus 2, minus 9y is going to equal negative 28, plus 2y, plus 2. Now, we want to get all of our letter terms on one side. Let's bring them to the left. So 7y, you could do this in your head if you wanted to, but I won't, plus 4y, minus 9y, minus 2y, all the y's on the left. On the right I have minus 28 plus the 2. Bring the other 28 from the left over, changes to a positive. Bring the other 2 over, changes to a minus. And now we have an issue. On the right, what we have is 0. On the left, we have 11y minus 11y, which is 0y. Now, if you ever see this question, you will see it several times. I need you to be able to interpret the answer correctly. So here's the thinking way to solve the question. For what value of y could you possibly substitute that when you multiply that value of y by 0, you get 0? And the answer is any number. For example, if y was equal to a half times 0 would equal 0. If y was equal to 7 times 0 would equal 0. If y was equal to 1.36 times 0 is equal to 0. If y was equal to minus 21 times 0 equals 0. The way that you show that this answer in math could be anything is you say the solution to y is equal to all real numbers. In other words, any possible solution that you could come up with would equal a possible answer for y. There's many answers to y. So in your head, make a mental note of the special case. When you get it down to 0y or 0x equals 0, there's more than one possible answer. There's many answers. And all those answers are possibly correct. So it's an all real number question. Number 14. It's hard to read. I'll read it to you. It says Chad earns $3,500 less per year than Maria. So I'll just jot that down in. Chad earns $3,500 less. Okay. And then the question goes on to say the combined income is $66,500 per year. How much does each person earn? So what you should know right away when it asks for how much does each person earn, and it says the word combined total, that we have to add the two salaries together. We don't know what either salary is, but we do know the relationship of one to the other. So we need to set up a question with a variable in it. So let's say that Chad and Maria need a letter. So we have Maria and we have Chad. Let's say we use the letter M for Maria. Okay? What Maria makes plus what Chad makes is going to equal $66,500. We need to make up an expression for Chad. He earns $3,500 less than Maria. Therefore, Chad his salary will be Maria's minus $3,500. You could have also done it a different way. You could have said, I don't want to confuse you, but just think for a second. You could have said, for example, that Chad's salary was, say, X, and Maria's salary would be X plus $3,500. You could have used these two variables, or you could have used these two variables. It makes no difference. But what has to happen next is you have to add them together. Let's just say we use the plus one. This is easier. So x plus 3,500. So Chad plus Maria adds together to equal 66,500. So 2x is going to equal 66,500 minus 3,500. So 2x is going to equal $63,000. So x is going to equal $31,500. And that, don't forget now, what we said x stood for, x is Chad. So Chad is 31,500, and Maria would be obviously $3,500 more, so it would be $35,000. And together, of course, it adds to the 66,500. So you won't see a whole lot of word problems in your travels, but you should at least see a couple and be familiar with the less than, greater than scenario. Okay, last question. We have, in recent international gymnastics competition, the US, China, and Russia were the big winners, and the total number of medals won by each team are three consecutive integers, whose sum is 84. And the US won more than China, who won more than, it's not Russia, it's Romania. How many did each team win? So three consecutive integers would be like 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 21, 22, 23. Let's just say that x is the first number, then x plus 1 would be the second number. That's what consecutive means. And x plus 2 would be the third number. So now we have to make that information into an equation. And it says that they're going to add to give you 84. So x plus 1 plus x plus 2 is going to equal 84. There's three x's together, plus 3 equals 84. So 3x is going to equal 84 minus 3. So 3x is going to equal 81. Therefore, x is going to equal 27. Now, x stood for the smallest number. And obviously, x plus 2 is the biggest number. Let's go back to our question. If the total number of medals won by each was, sum was 84, and U.S. won more than China, who won more than Romania. So then the biggest total would be the U.S., more than China, and more than Romania. So now we have to know, the question is, how many did each team win? Well, the U.S. won x plus 2. So the U.S. must have won 29. China would have had to have won 28. And Romania, 27. So just a little word problem to get your brain thinking, but they will not be the focus of this unit. But the solving equations where you have either x is equal to some kind of a number, like 7 or 10 or minus 14, you could have x is equal to 0, you could have x is equal to a no solution, or you could have x is equal to all real numbers. So please review that summary sheet in your booklet, where that's all written on one page, and good luck on your assignment.